Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us today. I have the honor and privilege of having Dr. Barbaraschwarck. I know I'm mispronouncing your last name. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So why don't you pronounce it so our audience knows how it's pronounced?
It's Schwarck. You did well.
Oh, thank you. So she is the CEO of Clear Intentions International. She has been helping people get unstuck and make powerful, lasting life changes for over 20 years. She is an award-winning dual certified coach with extensive academic training that she has used to create her unique neuro-emotional coaching technique, a cutting-edge coaching tool rooted in neuroscience and the Muscle Testing 101 app. Well, that sounds really cool. So how did you get started doing this?
It's a great question. So I'll give you the short version. I grew up in Germany and spent the first 20 years of my life there, and it was pretty traumatic. I had what you would say a classic traumatic childhood with lots of things that I don't necessarily think would make sense for us to go into. But I felt abandoned. I didn't know who I was. I had low self-esteem, and I was just kind of wandering around the world. And then I came to the United States, and in 1991, I took a personal development seminar. And in that seminar, on a Monday night, I realized, wow, I could have a different life. I could heal my past. I could become somebody that I wanted to become. I could have dreams. I could manifest them. And, it wasn't a coaching seminar then, because in the early 90s, we didn't really talk about coaching, but it was. And I volunteered, and then I became a certified coach, and then I did my own coaching technique, and here we are in 2020.
Wow, that's a very interesting story and a journey that, a lot of people sort of feel lost as a young person. And to be able to discover something that really like elevated your life and really changed your life is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what does your ideal client look like?
So my ideal client is somebody who understands that the process starts on the inside, that, as long as we're blaming the outside for, I know this is about, finding the love of your life and dating and relationships. As long as we're blaming the outside and we are looking there to fix our needs inside, we're really going to come up short. So my ideal client is somebody who understands that the beliefs that they have about themselves are the drivers in their lives, whether it's about relationships, whether it's about work, whether it's about manifesting things in your life, that it's always about the beliefs. We can never attract anybody that is not in alignment with our beliefs. So if I want to have this great guy or this great gal in my life, but I don't believe that I'm worthy of it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So that's what I work with people on. We look at the beliefs, we rewire them, and so that they're in line with who you want to be and what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And, that is sort of the message of this particular speaker series, nurturing yourself and discovering your abundant love for self-love. So what would you say is your most go-to technique or focus when you're working with a client?
So, I've created this neuroemotional coaching, which is a combination of muscle testing, emotional intelligence, traditional coaching, and, either business strategy or sort of life strategy. That's my go-to technique. I will muscle test somebody and look for alignments. I use the muscle test to find out if what you want to have in your life or who you want to be in your life is actually in alignment with all parts of your brain. So when we look at the beliefs, we have the beliefs that come from our rational brain, but we also have beliefs that come from our subconscious and our unconscious. And most of those beliefs are actually driving our behavior and our experiences. So I use the muscle testing to find out what's going on, and especially on those subconscious and unconscious levels. And then I have a sort of like a 15-step methodology that gets you aligned. And it requires you to look at your emotions and the emotions that are connected to certain things. And then from a physiological point of view or biochemical point of view, we do an alignment that really has to do with your neuropeptides and not causing you to have that, excuse me, same kind of reaction that you have all the time. So I'm doing my best to explain this in simple terms. But basically imagine that you see somebody and you have an innate reaction to them. And you're either going to like them, love them, or feel neutral about them, or you're going to, not like them. And it's all because of the unconscious, because your unconscious is telling you how to respond based on the experiences that you had in the past. Now, let's say, you want to go out with this person, but they're triggering you in a certain way because of the past. You will most likely sabotage this relationship because the stuff that's going on inside of you that's constantly being triggered. So my technique is to neutralize that so that you can actually make a decision of whether you want to move forward or with what you want to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely understand exactly what you're saying, because my own personal experience was that when I started dating just 8 years ago, I kept attracting and being attracted to the type of partner that I was not wanting to connect with, that I had connected with in the past.
Right.
Ones that were like my dad, controlling, domineering. I married a person like that. I got into a long-term relationship with a person like that. And I knew that's not what I wanted. I knew what I did want, but I couldn't stop that particular part of it. And it took working with an actual dating coach to move forward from that and to be able to change my alignment with that prior type in order to be able to attract what I knew I wanted and so forth. And then thank God I did, after a couple of years, have success. So, it is definitely something that we may not even be aware of.
That's so true. That
Yeah.
is so true, because 90%, almost 90% of really what moves us forward, I think it's 86%, is the unconscious and the subconscious. So it's like the Liz Taylor syndrome. She kept marrying the same kind of guy, and every time she was telling herself that it was not the same kind of guy, but it was. And it's not even that we could say, she wasn't making a smart choice. It's just that's how she was programmed. And what we want to do is we want to identify what is the program that I'm running. And it's often I'm not good enough. And I was just talking to somebody today, and that my client was telling me that, she wasn't pretty enough, and, her body needed to look a certain way. And women in particular, have those beliefs. Men have other beliefs about themselves. So it's difficult for us to attract the kind of partner that we want to attract when we have those programs going. So I just created this neuroemotional coaching because I wanted to circumvent all this. I wanted it to be faster. I wanted immediate results. And so that we could say, oh my God, here's the pattern. I can see it. What can we do about that?
And how did you decide or figure out that this was something that needed to be addressed? Was it something personal? Was it just through your education and research? How did you decide that?
So I worked with somebody who did a similar technique in Pittsburgh for many years, and I credit a lot of my personal growth to this kind of work, and I felt that it was limited in the way it was being used, and that there wasn't enough opportunities for me. It wasn't spiritual enough. There was like lack of spirituality, and I also felt it was very much in the mental health, and very much it wasn't in the coaching world at all. I actually had to convince the founders of neuroemotional technique. This was the prior technique that I was exposed to, that they would let me into the program. And then I was getting my doctoral degree, and we were challenged to come up with our own kind of coaching technique on working with people. And I said to myself, okay, Barbara, there it is. It's a sign. It's a sign from God for you to finally do your own technique. And then I worked on it, and I refined it, and I put all these different things together, and then I practiced it with people. And then actually a few years ago, I started training coaches in this technique. I've since I've stopped that because I felt it was important for people, if they wanted to, other coaches or other practitioners, that they could use it as a tool. Because for me, it was so super effective. I'm from Germany. I want my clients to walk away and say, wow, I feel different. Wow, I had this incredible aha. And I'm not saying, Barbara, I'm not saying that you can't have this with other tools and techniques. It was just, for me, this was incredibly fast, incredibly deep, and it worked really well. And I've probably worked with over 1,000 people in the 20 some years that I've been coaching, and people reporting this back and to me. So I've stuck with it.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's wonderful that you were able to adapt and modify and make it your own in order to be able to promote it and teach it and use it effectively on a daily basis. So that's really great. If you had, some words of advice for somebody who is struggling with their limiting beliefs and their not feeling good enough, or why should I focus on me? How is that going to help me and the people around me? Why should I do that? What would you answer?
It's a great question. So first of all, I would tell people it's a process. It's a process. Once you start this process, you're going on a journey. You're going on a journey to discover who you are. You're going on a journey to love yourself. It's not an event. It's a process. And so you want to take it one step at a time. I'm still working on loving myself more and accepting myself more, and taking the flashlight and accepting the parts of myself that that I'm not so happy with. And then I would say to people, learn to forgive yourself and speak kind words. Those are things that I think I would have done sooner, but really every day, forgive myself, and look at the judgments that I have, where I tell myself this maybe wasn't so good, that this becomes a routine. Because I think from the moment that we're born, we're going to make mistakes. There is no such a thing as a perfect anything, and we live in this illusion that things are perfect, or the perfect partner will come along, or I will be perfect. It just doesn't exist. So to learn to forgive, I have certain statements that I use. People can find them on my website, or you can look for those. I say, I forgive myself for judging myself, or I forgive myself for judging a person or a situation, and make that a daily routine. And really be mindful of, how do I speak? What do I say to myself? Those are two important things. And about the beliefs, so I'm doing a 3-month coaching class right now. We just got started. And week 1 was people had to write down their strength and their weaknesses. And then I had them write the belief, identify the belief that goes with the strength or with the weakness. And what I mean by that is, I can invalidate my strength. I can say, this is my strength, and then my belief tells me, well, I'm not really that good, or other people are better. Or I can have a weakness, and I can have a belief that will really, you know, make that weakness even stronger. So I would say, first of all, look at your beliefs. What is it? What are they? You know, take a look at them, write them down, and then take yourself through a process of looking to see, do they really work for you? Does that really work for you? And how is that working for you? And is there maybe a way that you could upgrade it? So if I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, does that really work for me? And really explore that. And maybe in some ways it does, and maybe in some ways it doesn't. And then if it doesn't, how can I gently lean into upgrading it, and maybe looking at, oh, maybe I'm okay sometimes. And so that I'm then slowly moving myself to a place of, you know, I'm actually okay. It's okay for me to make mistakes. And, you know, I'm okay just the way I am. And know that this is a process, and be really gentle with yourself.
And so I was on a Zoom conference with you recently, and you were talking about some of the things that you do in the morning, like to begin your day, your daily rituals that help you to, you know, like you said, forgive yourself, but also remind yourself of all the gratitude and positive beliefs that you have. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So first of all, I want to give credit where credit is due. This is a technique, I think it's been around for many, many years, but I've recently listened to a lot of Bob Proctor seminars and read his books, and he's been around for 60 years. I think he's a little, I would say, the father of a lot of the personal development. So what I do is I wake up in the morning, and first of all, I have a little prayer that I say, and then I sit down and I write down 10 gratitude statements. And the gratitude statements are different every day. Sometimes, you know, I find myself saying the same things for a couple of days in a row. Sometimes I write a whole page, but I write at least 10. And then after I'm done with my 10 statements, I send love and light to the people that I have disturbance with. So, or it could even be situations. And oftentimes I send light to myself because I might be a little disturbed with myself. But today, for instance, I heard about the horrible explosion. Actually, you know, you and I talked about it, and then I investigated a little bit. Send light to that. Send light to myself. Send light to anybody that I feel a little bit of a disturbance with. And then I write down my commitments of what I will be doing for the day. And then I take about 15 to 20 minutes to read some uplifting materials. And then if I have time, I will meditate. If I don't have time, I will meditate later. So that's my self-care routine that I'm doing. And oh, I forgot, I say my affirmations. So I have affirmations that I wrote down, and I say them. Some of those affirmations have been with me for a really, really long time. Some are new, and I read the mission of my business, and that I'm working on right now, just to get this all done within an hour. So because those are a lot of things, but it's important. It's important because that is, for me, how I really get myself in the right frame of mind to, you know, to start my day and to do what I want to do.
And is this a practice you've been doing for a while, or is this something, say, that you've acquired more recently? And what's the difference, how your days have gone from before you did this to now?
So it's in this format, it's something that I've been doing recently for about, I want to say, maybe a month. I used to do pieces of this here and there, but not like this complete program. What I'm finding is that when I'm done with it, I feel very uplifted, and I'm joyous. So, you know, I might wake up in the morning and I feel a little cranky or worried about, all the things I have to do. And, then I do my program and I'm like, oh my God, I just took a happy pill and I feel ready to do what I have to do, and I have more energy, and I keep this in front of me so that I know where I'm going. It's so like my map, and I have no intention of stopping. I heard Bob Proctor saying that he's been doing this. This was in February. He had been doing it for 365 days. So I'm like, okay, that's a lot of days in a row, and it's I tell all my clients to do it, and they've been doing it. And what's happening is that I tell you one little thing. So I have an app. It's my muscle testing app, right? And recently, I don't believe in accidents. The videos that are part of the app were deleted. Okay, so I have this app, and there are 3 videos that teach you how to muscle test, and they were deleted. But I've been wanting to redo the videos, and I say every day in my affirmations that everybody's going to download the app, and the app's going to go global, and here we go. So I had to redo the videos. I don't believe in accidents. I believe it's because I am affirming that I wanted to improve the app, that somebody just helped me and deleted them for me.
Yeah, it gave you the opportunity to make it better.
That's right.
Yeah, that's great. So, the information that you have shared has been, really important. And, you're definitely coming from a place of, not only that you've been doing this for a long time, but you've done the research behind it. You've got your doctorate to prove it. And so I know that it will be very helpful and valuable to the people listening. So do you have a free gift that you're willing to offer our audience?
I do. So I'm happy to give away some free coaching. People can have what I call a rewiring session with me. Even one session I think can be very effective in having the conversation and looking at some basic beliefs that are running somebody. So that's my free gift, my free offering to the listeners, and I'm happy to do it.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And I know that people will take advantage of it because, you certainly walk the walk and talk the talk. So,
Thank you.
It's important. And is there any last thoughts that you'd like to share before we end the interview?
Let me give me a second here. So I think to remember that it's really important to love yourself. Like, this is what this summit is all about. That to keep at it. And so even though it might not be so easy right away, to continue to stay on this journey, and that it will get easier, and the rewards, the benefits of when we love ourselves and come from that place, and the decisions and the experiences that you will have in your life will be unmatched. And I want people to hang in there, regardless of where you are in this journey. I come by it honestly. I know what it's like. So if I can do it, Barbara, if you did it, it's like it's available for everybody. So I encourage you to stay on the journey and to continue walking.
That's a beautiful final message. Thank you so much, Barbara. This has been lovely, and I'm so glad we were able to do this and connect and so forth. And I'm just very grateful that we were able to do this.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you, audience, and please take advantage of her free gift. It will be on this email that links you in to watch this video. So please take advantage of it. And thank you again, Barbara, for being here.
Thank you.